way too polite to say that either one thing about solar that we should acknowledge is that the previous governor just did a tremendous amount of damage in that space, wouldn't even hardly let those words be spoken. It was basically banned. The only thing you could talk about was deep water. So you guys are very, very polite, nice people.
We tried.
And I'm going to demonstrate how I'm not. Because Phil, for your next one of these, you're going to ask a similar question about what is the state that we should admire in terms of its economic performance. It's very low unemployment, and it's the same answer that I did not hear from the panelists, which is the same state and a key municipality that is just killing it in the environmental space. The state is Vermont, the city is Burlington. The question is, how did you not know that?
Is that a rhetorical question? So, what's happening in Burlington?
Sure, the state of Vermont has a 5.4% unemployment rate. When I lived in Burlington in the 80s, between the old North End and then the new North End, which is the 70s suburb development, there's the Intervale. It was the dump. Today, the Intervale is a farm. Burlington, the city of Burlington owns and operates its own electrical production facilities. The city of Burlington is awash with cash. It runs an annual surplus. Their big problem is, what are we going to do with all this cash? One thing that they're looking at right now is building yet another electric production plant, this time in the city. They use primarily high-efficiency wood chip to produce electricity because it's Vermont. They've got like wood everywhere. And this facility, when I heard it being discussed, they had they were talking about using the excess heat generated by the plant for district heat in the inner city. So sort of that's what's possible in our region with, and the magic words were, Jaime, you said, is political will, right? Bernie Sanders was the mayor when all of this started. Burlington has a proper progressive party separate from the Democrats. And they actually have Democrats that are Democrats. Unlike Rhode Island, where we have Democrats who are Republicans. So you asked me to follow on. So.
Thank you.
Should we?
Do you want to respond?
I think I have to. Apologize. Because I have to counter your Vermont pride with a little Rhode Islandness to it. And I mean, I think, yes, Vermont's a model. But in no way can we necessarily say, we're Vermont. And we're not Vermont. And we're not the same people that it makes up the population of Vermont. And we don't have the same resources that Vermont does. That we have, that we can't, and that's one of the things that I like to push back on, is that even comparing states, it's not just fair, it's inaccurate in every way. Because in the United States, each little state is so different from every other, no matter how much we're alike. And that no solution in one state is absolutely the same solution in any other state. And but I appreciate that, and we need to learn from our neighbors.
Connecticut gets a comparable amount of sun to us, right?
Which is why, yeah, I think so. But I would say that, yes, and then they could do more solar generation. They also have more buildings than us, so they can do more solar generation. And you could say they have the influence of large capital markets from their neighboring state, New York, that we don't necessarily have. So once again, just because they have more sun or they have less water doesn't mean that the comparisons can be made for the right policies for each place. That's my push. But I absolutely appreciate the sentiment.